Yes, now let me have an overview about a simple store procedure. Let me connect to the database system. Now person ID, person name and age are there in HC underscore person. Now let me create a store procedure. Let me just drop the existing procedure. To drop the existing procedure, just drop space, procedure space, the procedure name. The procedure doesn't exist, so let me create a new procedure. To create a new procedure, what we'll do is create or replace procedure. Okay. Update underscore person with the parameters in the procedure. Okay. Now let me have two parameters in the procedure. Okay. The parameters in the procedure, there can be any number of parameters in the procedure, and the default type of the parameter, the data type we should give the parameter name space the data type of the parameter. In between the parameter name and the data type, we can give the type of the parameter. There are three types of parameters that we can send, either in or out or in out. In parameter means that is used to the parameter that is used to send some data into the procedure. Out parameter means parameter used to send some data from the procedure. In out means this same parameter can act as a in parameter as well as out parameter. Okay, and the default type of the parameter in a store procedure is int. Sorry, is in. Okay, so now pr underscore id as well as pr underscore name is in. Just because the default type of parameter in a store procedure is in. Now let me give it explicitly in. So the name of the parameter space, whether it is in or in out, space the data type. If you don't give in or out or in out, just if we give the parameter name space data type, by default it will be assumed as in parameter only. Okay. So let me give it explicitly so that it will be better. Now there are two in parameters, pr underscore id and pr underscore name. Pr underscore id is of type int, pr underscore name is of type, name is of type varchar. Okay. Let me go for pr underscore age, which is of type int. Okay. And whether we should give either is or as, both are fine. Begin. There are three types of parameters: in, out, and in out. Is, begin, and end. Between begin and end, we can give a number of SQL statements. Any logic, if loops, for loops, while loops, any logic that we can. We will discuss that in depth while discussing PLSQL, but I'll write a very simple statement here, like update it's underscore person set. What is the column here? Person underscore ID and age. So set age equal to PR underscore age, where person underscore ID equal to PR underscore ID. Now using the store procedure, what I am doing is I am updating the person age. Okay, I am updating the person age of specific person ID to some value. Now if you want to execute the store procedure, just go for exec space the store procedure name by passing the appropriate parameters 122 like this. This is how we can create a store procedure. This is how we can execute a store procedure. Okay, just create or replace procedure name. Create or replace means if already exists, the existing procedure will be automatically dropped and the new procedure will be created. Okay, if you just give create means, okay, if already a procedure exists, then it will give a database exception. So create or replace means if existing procedure is there with the same name, then existing procedure will be dropped and the new procedure will be created. Okay, the procedure name and the number of parameters. There can be any number of parameters, even 0 parameters. Okay, it's not mandatory to have parameters in a store procedure. A store procedure can contain 0 parameters. Okay, after giving parameters, either is or as, begin, end. Between begin and end, we should write the logic of the store procedure. The logic of the store procedure in general will not be a single statement. It will be a combination of if loop, while loop, for loops, and all. The business logic will be executed. Okay, but I am not executing any business logic. I am executing a very simple store procedure where the age will be updated with the inputted age. Age will be updated with the age will be updated with the inputted age for the inputted person. Okay, let's consider like I am executing update person age by sending 122. Then what happens is set age equal to PR underscore age. Now PR underscore age will be 22. Okay, and where PR person underscore ID equal to PR underscore ID. PR underscore ID value is 100. So what it will do is it will update the age to 22 where ID is 100. Okay, now let me create this store procedure. Just go for a forward slash so that the procedure is created. If you want to execute that procedure, just exec space the procedure name by passing the appropriate parameters. Okay, store procedures successfully executed. Now let me select the values. Now what was the earlier age of the ID 100? 33, but now it has been changed to 22 because of the store procedure that we have executed. Okay, in the store procedure what we are doing, we are updating h underscore person set age equal to PR underscore age. PR underscore age we have set as 22, PR underscore ID, ID we have set as 100, age we have set as 22. In the query what it is doing is updating the h underscore person, it's modifying the age to 22 where ID is 100. So earlier the age of ID 100 was 33, now it is being modified to 22 through the store procedure. This is how we can execute a store procedure with a in parameter. Okay, now let's have one more parameter which is a out parameter. Understood? How to, if you want, you can write this syntax how to create a store procedure. This in or out after the parameter name is not mandatory. If you don't give in or out, then by default it will be assumed as in. Just know about each and every keyword. What is create or replace? What is procedure? What is everything? What is in? What is out? What is in out? What is begin? What is end? And this code will be saved in the database. Okay? This store procedure will be saved in the database. So that it can be reusable. Now if you want to execute the store procedure, just go for exec space or exec, or we can even use execute also. Both are same. Both are same. Either we can use exec space procedure name by passing appropriate parameters, or even execute. Okay. Now if you want to drop the procedure, just I'll go for drop procedure name. Just if you want to drop the procedure, just go for drop procedure name. Okay, so let me execute this. Drop procedure. So the procedure will be dropped. Now, if I execute the procedure, nothing will happen just because the procedure doesn't exist. Okay, so let me recreate the procedure with one out parameter. We should not give any size to the parameter for varchar. In general, while declaring the columns in the table, we'll give specific size to the varchar, but in a store procedure, we should not give any specific size to the varchar. In a store procedure parameter, we should not specify the size of the varchar. In a store procedure parameter, we should not specify any size to the varchar. Okay, now Let me do the same and let me execute two statements. What I'm doing is, understood what I have done? Just try to understand this statement. What we have done. Out parameter is used to get some value out of the stored procedure or get some value from the stored procedure. What this statement is doing? What this statement is doing? It will take the values of the in parameter and it will set into the column of the table. Am I right? In the same way, it is reverse. It is taking the value from the column and setting into out parameter. Select person_name into the out parameter. It's a reverse of the first query. First query, what it is doing? It is setting the value from the parameter, in parameter to the column. Now, what this is doing is, it is setting the value from the column to the out parameter. Now, let me execute this so that you can note it down if required. Let me drop the existing procedure. Doesn't exist. So, let me recreate the procedure. The procedure is being created. Okay. Now, if you want, you can write this. A store procedure with both in and out parameter. Just create a replace procedure name with person underscore p underscore id with the in parameter, p underscore age with the in parameter, p underscore name which is a out parameter. Two in parameters and one out parameter. And I'm executing two queries in the store procedure. Like this, we can execute even any number of queries in the store procedure At the same time, we can execute if loop while for that we'll discuss while discussing PLSQL. If we have ample time, we'll discuss them. Okay. Now, the store procedure is being created. Now, let me try to call the store procedure by sending the values. Now, is this store procedure executed? What is telling? Raw number of types of argument in the call to store procedure. Now, what are the number of arguments in the store procedure? 3. How many arguments that we are sending here? Only 2. So we need to send even the third parameter. But how we can send an out parameter to a store procedure? Okay, we cannot send a value directly like this. What is the data type? Varchar, right? So if we try to call the store procedure by calling like this is not a value. Just because the out parameter expects a PLSQL variable, not the value. It expects a PLSQL variable. It expects the SQL variable, not the value. What we are sending here, we are sending ABC, which is a value. But for out parameter, the out parameter doesn't expect a value. It expects a variable. Then how to create a before executing this, we should create a variable of type SQL. Now, how we can create a variable means just go for var. First, to execute a store procedure with out parameter, create a SQL variable. To create a SQL variable, what we do is var space sum. _result, okay, of type here we can specify the size, varchar 2 of 30. Now we have specified some size. Okay. Now in order to execute the store procedure, we should give as a third parameter for the out parameter, we should pass colon the variable name. What is the variable name that we have created? _result colon the SQL variable name. What is the SQL variable name? We have created is _result. Store procedure execution is successfully completed. Now the value, the out parameter, what is the out parameter that we are sending here? _result. The variable that we are sending here is _result. Now this _result will go to this PR_name and the value will be set into PR_name. The value is set into PR_name means internally the value will be set into _result. But how we can get the value means just go for print so the value is Ravi. So is that the value for ID 100? Understood? This is how we can make use of a store procedure with a out parameter. Just to call a store procedure with a out parameter, declare a SQL variable, create a SQL variable, okay, which is where we create using var space the variable name space the data type. Okay, here we can specify the size. Okay, and execute store procedure. For in parameters we pass the values. For out parameters we pass colon the variable name. Okay, and that value, the out parameter value will be stored in this variable name. Okay, if you want to print, just print space the variable name. It will get the value. Understood? Now we can use this variable value to send to any other procedure. Let's consider like there are two procedures, procedure 1 and procedure 2. Procedure 1 is taking the out parameter and that value we can send as an in parameter to another procedure. Understood what I am telling? See, procedure 1 has a out parameter, and because of the out parameter, some value is being stored into person underscore result. Let's consider like there is another store procedure which takes a varchar as a in parameter. Okay, let me create another procedure. Let me name it as test person. Okay. This I am creating a in parameter which is of type varchar. Okay. Now I am creating another procedure which is test person. Okay. Where I am sending person name and I am setting two parameters. What I am doing is here I am updating the person based on the name. Where person's name is equal to. Understood what we have done here? We are setting two in parameters, and I'm setting the age based on the name. Understood? See, update h underscore person set age equal to p underscore age, where p underscore name is person underscore name equal to p underscore name. Understood what we have done? So let me create even this procedure. Now there are two procedures: test underscore person and update person age. Now let me execute this procedure. Now person underscore result contains the name that we have updated. Okay. Now again we can execute test underscore person with what is the first one? The first is varchar or int? Varchar, right? So before executing this, let me select the value. What is the value? The value is 22. So just because we have executed the store procedure. Now let me execute test underscore person by sending this person underscore result, the value as 99. Okay. Sorry. The value as 99. Procedure is successfully executed. Now this person underscore result contains the value. Okay, the person underscore result contains the value which is set through the out parameter in the first store procedure execution. What is the ID that we have sent? What is the ID that we have sent here? We are in the first store procedure. The first store procedure we have sent the ID as 100, age as 22. So that the 100 age is being set to 22, and we are fetching the name and we are setting into a variable. Okay. Now the person underscore result contains this name Ravi. Again, what we are doing is we are updating, we are executing test underscore person with the value that is being retrieved through a out variable. What is the value of person underscore result here? What is the value of person underscore result here? Understood? What I'm telling, first what I'm doing is I'm executing this. Let me execute again. What I'm doing is first I'm executing the store procedure. Okay, now let me. What is the value? Or what is the age value? 99. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm executing the first store procedure. Okay. I'm executing the first store procedure. What is the first store procedure doing? Update. Let me make it 200 so that it will be legible for you. 229. Now I am sending 229 and colon percent result. So the variable is being sent. So here PR underscore ID is 200, PR underscore age is 29, and PR underscore name will have the reference of the variable person underscore result. So what I am doing is age. I am setting the age to PR underscore age, where ID person underscore ID is called PR underscore ID. What's PR underscore ID here? 200. Age is 29. So age is being set to 29, where ID is 200. Then what I am doing, the second thing is select PR person underscore name into PR underscore name. So what is the person name? Ramesh. Ramesh is being set into the variable that we have set, person underscore result. This is doing two things. The first thing is updating the age as well as setting the name into a SQL variable. So the name is being set into a SQL variable. Okay. Now if you see here, print the name is Ramesh. So this name is there stored in the SQL variable. Okay. Now if I execute test person with that variable, okay, and if I set the age to 55, then what happens here in the second store procedure? What I am doing? I am taking the name and I am taking the age and I am updating the age based on the name. Okay, update h underscore person set age equal to p underscore age, where person name equal to p underscore name. Understood? So if I execute the store procedure and select the values, Ramesh age is being set to 55. From where we got this Ramesh? We got this through the SQL variable. From where this SQL variable value is set means from the first row procedure. Understood? These SQL variables are reusable. Understood? This is how we can make use of a store procedure. Understood? Now this is how we can execute a store procedure from a normal SQL client. But what we need to learn is how to execute this store procedure from a Java application. Okay? Now let me develop a simple example which executes the store procedure from a Java application. In order to execute the store procedure from a Java application, we need to go for an interface named CallableStatement. Now to execute a store procedure from a Java application, we need to go for a callable statement. We cannot execute store procedures through statement or prepare statement. We should go for another interface named callable statement. Callable statement is an interface in Java.SQL package. And callable statement is a sub-interface to prepared statement. Callable statement is a sub-interface to prepared statement. The hierarchy is first statement. Prepared statement is a sub-interface to statement. Callable statement is a sub-interface to prepared statement. Okay. Once we create a callable statement, what we need to do is, let me comment out these things as we have already discussed the batch updates. Shall I comment all these things? By default, auto comment will be true. Now, let me create a callable statement. If we want to create a callable statement, we should go for connection dot prepare call. What is the method that is used to create a statement object? What is the method that is used to create a statement object? Why everyone is not responding? Why only one person is responding? Why you guys could not able to respond? I was asking, what is the method that we use to create a statement object? Create statement of the connection. What is the method that we use? What is the method that we use to create a prepare statement object? Prepare statement. In the same way, the method that we use to create a callable statement object is prepare call. For statement, we use create statement. For prepare statement, we use prepare statement. For callable statement, we use prepare call. Okay, so prepare call by sending the query. Since it is a sub-interface to prepare statement, it has the features of the prepare statement where we can give some placeholders. So even in case of callable statement, okay, there will be only one execution plan. So how we can give is within braces. Within braces, call space the procedure. Let me execute the second procedure first. What is the second procedure? Test underscore person. I am sending. Now let me select the values. What are the values? Suresh, the value is 24. Now let me make it question mark, question mark. So we can set this placeholder later on. Just call space procedure name, in the parenthesis we'll give the placeholders. Okay, now CSTMT callable statement equal to connection dot prepare call. Once we get the callable statement, we can set the values. What's the first placeholder? What is the type of the first placeholder here? What is the type of the first placeholder? Where? See, we are calling this store procedure. Test underscore person. Test underscore person first parameter is of type varchar, second parameter is of type int. So, what is the first placeholder data type? What is the first placeholder data type here? See, in the procedure, the first parameter type is varchar. Second parameter type is int. Now, while calling the procedure also, what is the value to what is the data type of the first placeholder? Varchar. In Java, varchar is a string. In Java, the corresponding data type for varchar is string. The second is int. So the corresponding varchar type is int. So first is set string For the first placeholder, we set the value as Suresh, and for the second placeholder, we set the value that we need to set the age. Let me execute 38. Okay, and just CSTMT dot execute. That's it. Okay, sorry. The second is a int, not a string. Thanks. Second is a int. The 38 is a int, not a string. So the second parameter, the second placeholder is of type int. So we should execute setInt method. The first placeholder is of type string. So first placeholder is of type varchar. So we have set a string through setString. Second placeholder is age, which is of type int. So we execute setInt by passing the value 38. Just this is the first placeholder, and this is the second placeholder. Value to the first placeholder, value to the second placeholder. And here the first placeholder value will come here, second placeholder value will come here. Understood? Okay, now let me try to compile and execute the application so that we can note it down. It's been executed successful. Now let me see what is the values. Suresh age is being set to, earlier Suresh age was 24. Okay, now through the Java application we have set the value to 38. The Suresh, whatever the age of Suresh, the age of Suresh is being set to 38. Okay, it is when through the store process. Earlier it was, for earlier execution it was 24. After executing this application, what happened? We are setting, we are executing test_person. In test_person, what we are doing? Okay, just we are setting the age with a specific name. So we are setting the name and age. We are modifying the age as per the name. Okay, so update test_person set age equal to some age, where name equal to some name. So as per the inputted name, we are modifying the age. So we are modifying the age of the person whose name is Suresh to 38. So the age of the person of name Suresh is being modified to 38. Understand? This is how a store procedure can be executed from a Java application. If you want, you can write these lines. CSTMT is of type CallableStatement, which is a sub-interface to prepare statement. Oh? No. Let me call the store procedure, which is the first one. Now, how we were executing the store procedure here? Just we were executing like we were setting a temporary variable, we were creating a SQL variable by passing the SQL variable as input. We were executing that from a console. Okay. If the store procedure has a out parameter, then how we used to execute means for in parameter we used to set the values. For out parameter we used to set colon the SQL variable name while executing the store procedure. What are you noting down? Just listen to me first. Okay, understand the concept. Are you noting on this? EXEC space something or something else? Okay. First, if you want to execute a store procedure, okay. If you want to execute a store procedure, just we used to execute like this. Okay. EXEC space, okay. The store procedure name within the parenthesis, we used to send the values to in parameters, and for out parameter we used to send a SQL variable. Okay. But how we can call a store procedure with out parameter from a Java application? Means, okay, in order to call a store procedure with out parameters, okay, there is a method register out parameter. The register parameter takes two arguments. One is the index of the out parameter. The index of the out parameter. Okay, what is the index of the out parameter here? In the store procedure, what is the index of the out parameter? What is the number of parameters? 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so in JDBC the indexes will start from 1. So it is 3. Okay, and what is the type of the out parameter? Okay, in order to define the type of the out parameter, okay, we have an entity named types. We have entity named types. We have entity named types in java.sql package, which is a class so whatever we should specify the type. What is the data type of the out parameter? Okay, so we'll specify the data type of the out parameter by using types. So we specify the data type of the out parameter using types. Okay, for varchar there is a type varchar. There it is. Varchar. Yes, this is a varchar. Varchar type is there. So what we do is, so we are registering it as the third placeholder as a out parameter. We are registering the third placeholder as a out parameter of type varchar. Okay, we are registering the third placeholder as a out parameter of type varchar. Okay, now let me call, what is the first one? Update person age. Okay, now the third parameter is a out parameter of type varchar. This types is also a class in java.sql package. We should import it. Types also is a class in java.sql package. We should import that. Okay. Types is a class in java.sql package. Okay. Now we are calling update person by sending three placeholder. What is the data type of the first placeholder here? Now it is int. Second placeholder is age, which is of type int. Third placeholder is name, which is of type varchar. But third placeholder is a out. So first placeholder is id, which is of type int. Let me set it as 100, which is of type int. Now the first placeholder is int. The second placeholder is int, which is of type age. Let me make it as 15. Now I am modifying the age to 15 for the ID 100. Okay. The earlier age is now the age is 99 for ID 100. Now what I am doing is I am setting the ID as 100. I am setting the age as 15. I am registering the third placeholder as the out parameter. Now is this the same syntax here? First two are in, third is out, which is of type, third is of out, which is of type varchar. The same thing that I am doing here. First int, second int, third is of type varchar. Okay. After executing the store procedure, just let me print system.out. Okay, just I'm getting the value in the third index, the value that is being stored in the third index. Okay, now let me try to compile this. This application was compiled. Okay, let me execute the application. What is doing? Still it is not done. Executing. I'm not sure why it is not executed, but this is the format how we need to execute a store procedure without parameters. Just you can note it down. Later on we can see. Don't get these things. Oh, no. This will complete the basic JDBC, and there are a couple of concepts that we need to discuss in JDBC. One is connection pooling. Second is the support of file system in database. Actually, what we are doing is now we are storing the content into the database, like string content, integer content, character content. Rather than storing string content, integer content, we can save even the file content, the whole file. Let's consider like we are uploading our resume into some of the websites. How that resume will be stored in the database means, okay, that file itself can be stored in the database. Okay, and we upload our photo in some of the job sites. Okay, how our photo will be uploaded in the database means the same. Even the file, image file, the character file as well as the binary file, okay, can be persisted in a database. A file system itself can be persisted in a database. Okay, that's support. We'll see some tables with of the type, okay, and how to interact with those tables that we'll discuss in the coming sessions. But now we'll discuss connection pooling. Okay, what is the connection pool and what is the pool of objects? How we use and how we can create a connection pool, and what we need to do in order to make use of connection pooling. Okay. Before discussing connection pooling, we have a concept of pooled instances. Or the same can be called as object pooling, or the same can be called as object pooling. What are pooled instances, or what is object pooling? Means if we have some expensive objects that require more resources, okay, in the sense it will take more memory to be created, it will take more time to be created, it will take more memory to be created, and it will take more time to be garbage collected. Expensive object, in a sense, it's an object which will take more time to be created. In order to create that kind of object, it will take more time, and it will consume more memory while creation, and it will take more time while performing the process of garbage collection. So creation of the object is expensive in terms of performance, as well as garbage collection. Okay, detaching the object is also expensive in the sense of garbage collection. So what garbage collector will do, automatically it will remove the object which doesn't have any reference. So the garbage collector will remove the objects. When the garbage collector wants to remove the objects which are expensive, it will take some time. In the same way, to create such objects, it will take more time. So to create or remove the expensive objects from the heap, it will take more time. So rather than creating, see, whenever we let's consider like connection object. Whenever we create a connection object for each and every transaction and nullify the connection object for each and every transaction, what happens? For each and every transaction, a new connection object will be created which is expensive. In finally block of each and every transaction, if we nullify the connection, what happens? If we nullify the connection, what happens? Again, it will be nullified. Again, it will be garbage collected. Even the garbage collection of connection object also will be expensive. So, rather than nullifying the expensive objects and creating the expensive objects again and again, what we do is, in general, we maintain a pool of expensive objects like connection. Connection is a very expensive object in terms, it will take more time and many resources are required to be created while creating a connection object. And even while destroying a connection object, like while garbage collecting a connection object, okay, even at that time also it will take more time to be garbage collected. So to avoid this performance reduction because of frequent creation of expensive objects, what we do is we create the expensive objects at the starting of execution. At the starting of execution itself, we create expensive objects and we reuse the existing objects. We don't destroy the expensive objects. What we do is, at the starting, we create objects. Let's consider like the objects required are 10. So we create, let's consider the objects required are 6. We create 6 objects at the starting itself. We create 6 objects at the starting itself. Okay? And we maintain them as a pool. We maintain them as a pool. We maintain them as a collection. Okay, which is reusable. And we create this pool whenever the application is started, and we destroy this pool whenever the application is stopped. So that it is a one-time process. And this object pool, these objects in the pool can be reused. Let's consider like this is a pool of connection objects. Whenever we want the connection object, we get the connection object from the pool and we make use of the connection object, and whenever the purpose of the connection object is over, we send back this connection object to the pool. Rather than nullifying the connection object in the finally, we send back this connection object to the pool. Understood? That's what we are doing. That's what we need to do using connection pooling. What happens if we don't use connection pooling? Okay? What happens if we don't use object pooling? If it is an expensive object, okay? If it is an expensive object, if we don't use pooling concept, what we need to do? We need to create that expensive objects again and again, and we need to garbage, destroy, or we need to garbage collect that expensive object again and again, which will consume more time and more memory to create as well as to destroy and garbage collect that expensive object like a connection object. So rather than creating and destroying again and again, what we do is we create the objects at the start of the application itself. At the starting of the application itself, we create a pool of connection objects, and whenever we want the connection objects, we get it from the pool. We get it from the pool. Okay? And we use the connection object, and after the purpose is over, we will send back to the pool. Understood? And so that this pool can be reusable. And once the application is being stopped, when we stop the application, okay? When we stop the execution, then what we do is we'll destroy the pool. So we clear the pool so that the objects will be destroyed. Understood? Now, this connection pooling in general, we won't do this connection pooling programmatically. 99% of scenarios, we won't write code to establish connection pooling in our JDBC application. But in some interviews, the interviewers will be asking to write you a class which demonstrates connection pooling. For that, we are writing an example which demonstrates connection pooling. But 99.99% scenarios, we won't write our own logic for connection pooling. We depend upon some third-party libraries to maintain connection pooling. Okay? Like we have several third-party libraries like GBCP, C3P0. These are the third-party connection pooling libraries. We use these third-party connection pooling libraries to maintain connection pooling in our application. GBCP, C3P0. In general, we have C3P0. When this C3P0, 0 will be called as O by this and infinity. So, in general, we is called as C3P0. But in interviews, you may call it as C3P0 or C3P0. Anyway. Okay. Now, let me demonstrate a very simple example which provides you. All of you understand what is the concept of connection pooling? Yes? Yes or no? No? See, we will have some. I told that connection is an expensive object. How we call connection as expensive object? You have to create a connection object, it will take more time. Okay? And when an object is nullified, what we do? We will create a connection object, driver manager dot get connection of something. Okay? By using driver manager dot get connection, we create a connection object. Okay, to create this connection object, okay, more memory is being consumed. Okay, and many number of resources are to be opened. So it will take more time to create a connection object rather than any simple Java object. Okay, so it consumes more memory. It will take more time to be created. So it will give less performance if you create connection objects again and again. Okay, so even to destroy the connection object, when we nullify the connection object, we make call equal to null. Then what happens? This object, connection object, will be automatically removed. Okay, from the memory by the garbage collector. The garbage collector will automatically remove the objects from the heap whenever the objects are nullified. So what we do is, whenever it is nullified, the garbage collector will be invoked and it will remove the objects from the heap. So while removing the connection object from the heap, even at that time also it will take more time and will consume more memory. So to create an object as well as to destroy that object from the heap, to remove that object from the heap, it will take more memory. Now, if we create a connection object for each and every database transaction, what happens? What happens? If we create a connection object for each and every database transaction, what happens? See, let's consider like we are going for ICICI and you are performing a transaction. You are going for SBI and you are performing a transaction. Are you the only user for SBI side or for SBI ATM? Are you the only user for SBI ATM? Speak out, man. Are you the only user for SBI ATM? Are you a single user for SBI ATM? Yes or no? Speak out. Are you the single user for SBI ATM? No, you are not the only user. There are lakhs of users for SBI ATM. So, lakhs of transactions will be performed parallelly. So, for each and every transaction, if I create a connection object, what happens? The rate of transactions per minute will be slowed down like anything. Let's consider like at present, the rate of transactions per minute is 1 lakh. If you create connection object for each and every transaction, what happens? Number of transactions per minute will become 100. So, the performance of the application will be reduced. Understood? Just because these connection objects are heavyweight objects, these will take more memory and more time to be created as well as to be destroyed. So, if you create connection object for each and every transaction, what happens? The application performance will be drastically reduced. The application performance will be reduced like anything. So, the application will become slow. To avoid those problems, what happens is, what we need to do is, we create all the heavyweight objects as per some size. Let's consider like the connection pool size is 6. So we will create 6 objects and we reuse we will not nullify those objects. We will not make those objects as null. Whenever we want a connection object, we will get the connection object from the pool, and whenever the purpose of the connection object is over, we will send back to the pool. So that we will create only once, reuse many times. Understood? This is concept of connection pooling, and this connection pooling in general will not be implemented through our code. We use some third-party libraries like C3PO, okay, C3P0, it's called, I'm calling it as O, or JDBC. Some libraries are there, okay, some third-party libraries are there to implement connection pooling, okay, and now we'll write a simple program which explains connection pooling, but this program is used only for interviews, not in the real-time applications. In the real-time applications, we use the third-party libraries only. Okay? Now let me write a new class. Connection pool.java, and let me write it. Please don't write. Just observe what we are doing. Thereafter I'll explain. Okay, I created a simple exception, a custom exception max pool size reach exception, and if the current pool size is greater than equal to maximum pool size, then I am throwing the exception. Okay, otherwise I'll create the connection. Then the current list is empty. If it is not empty, just I'll remove the connection object from the pool and I'll give it to the column class. Are there any modifications in the logic? Just observe the logic. Just if modifications are required, just propose the modifications. And it should be asynchronized so that multiple threads cannot access them. Observe the logic and analyze the logic what we have done. For those guys who don't know the collections, I'll explain it later on. But try to understand them. Is empty means we are checking whether the connection list is empty or not. First of all, what we are doing is we are taking a vector. Okay, let me explain from the beginning. First, we are taking a class which is named as connection pool, and we are taking a max pool size which is a final attribute of type int. Okay, the maximum pool size is 5 and the current pool size is 0 by default. Okay, maximum pool size is 5 and the current pool size is 0, and we are taking a vector. Why we are taking a vector? Just because by default it is synchronized, so that a vector can be accessed by maximum one thread at a time. A vector can be accessed by maximum only one thread at a time. Okay, so now what we are doing is whether we are seeing whether the connection list is empty or not. Let's consider for the very first time. For the very first time, if we execute get connection from pool, okay, what happens? Are there any connections now? Now there are no connections in the pool. So what it will do? Will it come to the if or will it come to the else? If there are no connections in the pool now, let's consider like we have created a vector. This is a vector whose maximum size is 5, and that's what we have done. And we have created a maximum pool size which is 5, current pool size which is 0. Okay, and we have created a vector which can accommodate 5 connection objects. Okay, and now if first time if I get connection from pool, will it go to the if block or will it go to the else? It is if and this is else. So first it will go to the if, just because the connection pool is empty. So it will go to the pool. It will go to the if block, and in the if block what we are doing? Again we are checking if the connection pool size is greater than or equal to maximum pool size. We are verifying whether the current pool size is greater than maximum pool size. What is the maximum pool size? 5. What is the current pool size? 0. Is it greater? No. If it is greater, then we are throwing exception. If it is not greater, then we are incrementing the current pool size to 1. Okay, and we are getting the connection object. We are creating the connection object and we are giving it to the call class. And in the call class, what we are doing, we are using the connection object. And what the call class should do, in the final block, it should add the connection back to the pool. Okay, now let's consider like we have created one connection object and we have added. We have created second connection object. Now, when we are trying to access this get connection from pool for the second time, what happens? Let's consider like in the pool currently there are no objects. We have created one object that is being used by some other application or some other thread to execute some program. Okay, the connection object is being already used by some transaction. It's not yet completed, the transaction is still in progress. So the connection object is still being used by some other transaction. Now, let's consider like another transaction requires a connection. Now what happens? Is the connection, is there any connection object in the list? Is there any connection object in the list? No, there is no connection object in the list. The connection object which is created in the earlier transaction is still being used, it's not completed. So, is the connection list empty? Yes or no? Yes. So, since the connection list is empty, okay, what it will do? Will it come to the if block or the else block? Will it come to the if block or the else block? If block. So, it will come to the if block, then what it will become? Whether the exception is thrown or not. Is this if condition true or false? Is this condition true or false? False. Just because the current pool size is 1 but the maximum pool size is 5. Still there is a scope for 4 connection objects. Now let's consider like transaction 1 is using the connection object and transaction 2 is requiring current connection object. Again we will create a new connection object. We will give it 2 transactions. Okay, like that, let's consider that we have created 5 transactions. We have created 5 transactions, and those 5 transactions have the respective connection objects. Still, the 5 transactions are in progress. Now, let's consider like 6th transaction coming to the picture, and 6th transaction requires the connection object. Now, what happens? Will it come to the if block or will it come to the else block first? Will it come to the if block or else block first? Why it will come to the if block? Still, the connections objects that are created are still occupied by the transactions. If we are checking this pool size, is this pool empty now? Yes, this pool is still empty. The pool doesn't contain connection objects. The connection object that we have created for the 5 transactions are still occupied by the transaction system. Their transactions are not completed. Now what happens? It will come to the if, just because the pool is empty. The pool doesn't contain any connections. Okay. Now whether this if condition will be true or false. This if condition will be true or false? True, just because the current pool size is 5. We have 5 connection objects. So the current pool size will be 5, and this if condition will be true. And we will throw exception that okay, I cannot create a new connection object just because already the connection pool is filled.
So the pool is empty and the current pool.
But already the maximum pool size is reached, right? See, maximum there should be 5 connections in the application. Either it will be in the pool or it might be used by the transactions. Even the pool appears to be empty, there are 5 connection objects in the application which is occupied by the transactions. Okay, we are telling that I cannot create a new connection object just because the maximum connection limit is reached. Okay, by throwing the exception. We will catch the exception at the call place and we will tell the corresponding message that the user is busy, something understandable to the user. Understand? See, we will not display that connection pool something message to the end user. For the end user, we will display that okay, the application is busy. Please try again. Some message like that. Okay, and let's consider that the message is being displayed, and again I am trying for a transaction. Again, for the transaction 6 is trying for a connection. But at that time, transaction 1 and transaction 2 are completed. And once transaction 1 and transaction 2 are completed, means it will reach the final block. Am I right? In the final block, what I will do is I will call this method add connection to pool. By assigning the connections. Now, for transaction 1, let's consider transaction 1 exists, transaction 2 exists, the connection object. Now, transaction 1 is completed and we will execute add connection to pool. So, what will happen? It will come here and it will search. What is the current pool size? What is the current pool size? Okay, this condition will not be verified here. This condition is not required. Then what we are doing? We are directly adding the objects to the connection. So we will verify one condition here that no required, otherwise. So, what we will do is, we will add the connection back to the pool. If we want to add the connection back to the pool, what we will do? Just we will call this method and we will add the connection. Okay? So, let's consider this transaction is completed and the connection is being added. So, in the same way, let's consider transaction 2 is also completed and add the connection back to the pool. Okay? At this point of time, transaction 6 coming into the picture and requires a connection. Okay? Now, in that scenario, will it come to the if or else block? Now, there are 3 transactions currently running with respect to connection objects. There are 2 connection objects in the pool, just because 2 transactions are over. So, in this scenario, will it come to the if block or else block in the get connection from pool? Else block, just because the connection list is not empty, still it has connections. If the connection list is not empty, then it will fetch the connections from the existing. So what it will do? It will remove. It will remove the connection from the pool and it will be occupied by P6. Let's consider P7 will come with the picture and require a connection. Again, it will give a connection. Now, what is the current pool size? 5. The current pool size is 5, and again if T8 requires a connection object, what happens? If T8, let's select there is a transaction 8 which requires a connection object. Then what happens? It will throw an exception that already 5 connection objects are occupied, you cannot access a new connection object. Okay, let's consider like T8 will get some busy message, and at that time T3, T4, T5 are coming. Now T8 again will try for the process, and at this time what happens? Will a new connection object created? Will it create a new connection object, or will it fetch the existing connection object from the pool? T8 requires a connection for its transaction, and are there any objects in the pool? Right now? Are there any objects in the pool right now? Yes. Just because the transactions T4 and T5 are completed. T4, T5, T6 are completed. So their connection objects are added back to the pool. Here there are 3 connection objects still in the pool. Then what happens? It will be the connection object will be fetched from the pool and T8 will access that object. Like that the process will happen with the pooling. Understand? Just if you want, you can write this logic, and what we'll do is, if you want to make use of this, just we'll not go for an object like this. Connection con equal to connection pool dot get connection from pool by sending the URL, username and all. Let me copy this. So let me remove this. So let me remove this. Let me remove the catch which corresponds to that. Let me remove the static, not required. And let me create here. Connection pool dot get connection from pool by sending the values. What are the values? Username, password, URL. Okay. Now we will access the application. Now once the purpose of the connection is over, then the final block what we will do is, after closing the statement object, okay, we'll add a connection back to the pool. Connection pool dot what with the method name? Add connection to pool. Okay. Then what we are doing here? This will throw a. Is this throwing an exception? Get connection from pool is throwing SQL exception. So what we'll do is we'll make it in the try catch. We'll put in the try catch. Okay. We'll put in the try catch just because get connection from pool is throwing a SQL exception. Now, once we get the connection object from the pool, okay, based on the logic, if the pool doesn't contain sufficient connection objects, then we'll create a connection object. If the pool doesn't contain a connection object, but already all the connection objects are occupied by some transactions, it will give a exception message. Okay, and if the pool doesn't contain connection objects, but there are still scope for some creation of connection object, we will create new connection object. If the pool is, if the maximum pool size is 5 and the connection objects that are already created is 5, it will not create a new connection object. It will throw an exception telling that. What is the exception that we have right here? Max pool size reach exception. Okay, in the catch we'll give EX. Okay, this will print. Application is busy. Please try again. Just because the connection objects are already occupied, there is no scope for new connection, so that we cannot proceed the transaction. Understood? This is how we can make use of connection pool. Okay, first we take, understood this logic? Understood this logic, everybody? Okay, and those who don't know about customized exceptions, we'll discuss later on. Okay, but we create a connection pool. If there is no connection object in the pool as well as it is not occupied, the total connection objects is the connection objects in the pool plus the number of connection objects occupied by transactions. Okay, we will consider the number of connections to be the number of connections in the pool plus the number of connections occupied by other transactions. Let's consider the number of connections occupied by other transactions is 5 and the number of connections in the pool is 0. Will we create a new connection? If the number of connections occupied by other transactions is 5, number of connections in the pool is 0 and the maximum pool size is 5, will we create a new connection object? No, just because already 5 transactions are there, 5 connection objects are there in the application. The number of connection objects are there in the pool are 2, and if the number of connection objects in the pool are 2, okay, and if the connection objects occupied is 1, then in that case will we create a connection object? If the number of connection objects in the pool are 2 and if the number of connection objects occupied by transaction is 1, then in that scenario will we create a connection object? The number of connection objects in the pool are 2. In the pool we have 2 connection objects. One connection object is being occupied by the transaction and the maximum pool size is 5. In this case, will we create a connection object or not? Yes? Just think it logically. Will we create a connection object in this situation? Yes or no? Yes? Is that the logic that we have written? See the logic. Is that the logic that we have written? See the logic, compare the logic with the example. Understood? Will we create a connection object here? No, just because We create a new connection object only when the pool is empty. Is the pool empty now? No. The pool has still connection objects. Why do we create a new connection object? That's what the concept of connection pool, right? If the pool has connection objects, we won't create new connection. We won't create new connection objects if the pool has objects or if the maximum connection limit is reached. If the pool has objects, that means will it come to the heap or else? Just because the pool has still two objects. So if you come to the else, it will remove the objects. Understood? Understood what we have done? That's how it will be. Okay, so we should go with the maximum pool size. Okay? The allowed pool size will be the number of objects in the pool plus the number of objects occupied. Okay? Even in this scenario, the number of pool objects is 2 and the number of objects occupied is 1. Total 3, which is less than 5. Even in this scenario, we will not create a connection object. Just because already we have 2 connection objects in the pool. If these 2 objects are occupied by the transactions, now the number of connection objects occupied is 3 and if the number of objects present in the pool is 0, then it will create a connection object. There is no connection object in the pool, then only it will create a connection. There is no connection object in the pool as less if the number of transactions, the number of connections occupied by transactions is less than the maximum pool size. Then only we create the connection object.
In the previous explanation, you stated that when 3 objects are in the pool and 5 objects means a new object, we want to create a new object. You said that one object is deleted from the pool and a new object was created.
That's what I told. What I told, whenever, let's consider this scenario, we are not deleting, we are deleting the object from the pool. We are not deleting the object from the memory. See, let's consider this is the scenario. 3 objects are there in the pool. Okay? 2 objects are occupied. Now, what is the total number of connections in the application? 5. Now, will it create a new connection object? No. Okay? Let's consider that there are 3 objects in the pool. There are no transactions currently running. Now, in this scenario, will it create a connection object? It won't create, just because since there are 3 connection objects in the pool, at maximum, first it will try to fetch it from the pool. If not possible, then only it will create a connection object. If not possible, if the pool is empty, then it will not be possible to get a connection object from the pool. Then again it will check another condition. What is the condition? If the pool is empty, we are checking another condition. Whether the current pool size is greater than or equal to maximum pool size. That means the number of current connection objects equal to maximum connection objects. That means the number of current connection objects means whether in the pool or occupied. Now it will be 5 just because all the connection objects are occupied. Okay? Then will it create a connection object? No. Then it will throw a message that the user is busy, please wait for some time. Understand? That's how the connection pool will be. And if you want to write the example, you can write it down. Otherwise, Sharath will post this example on Facebook. You can copy it from there. Already we have overloaded with time. Okay? And today evening we have a